Kevin, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. As a first episode of the Archive Breach is a Final Bosu show planned and founded by me. I'm not affiliated with the team by any means. If you count, I really trust the team and I love the lore and everything what you've done so far. I know the community is really interested of the direction where the team is heading currently and the state. But I would ask you first, after the long summer and after the release, how are you, Kev? How are you feeling? How was your
Thanks
summer?
for asking. And in a way, you are affiliate with the team, right? I always see the community as an extension of our team, right? So even you might not be, working with us behind the scenes directly, but I definitely, feel like you're part of the team. Look at this beautiful design you made here, and
Thank you.
the buses in the background. Like when I saw your stream the first time, I just knew we needed to connect. But I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I was talking on a space before about it. Like I think the review definitely put our whole team into. It was a very difficult and hard period for us internally. I know that on the outside, people, definitely noticed some hiccups, but internally, obviously, we went through a lot more than that. Like I should put out the whole story once in a nice edited video to show what an against all odds story it truly was. It was a lot worse than people think it is, and not because of our own fault, but because we ran into problems with a third party provider and we just had to solve it. So we did, but it was like 5 days of no sleep. And so I noticed like afterwards having this, finding your groove back, I think always a good description of it is like if a writer writes a book for such a long period and then gets a writer's block, it's a bit of that plus figuring out like how are we going to focus on our long term and balance the short term of Web3 and taking people with on this journey and do things that are good for our business. And I feel these last 2 weeks, a shift happened internally within our team. We made a couple hires as well that have been nothing but amazing, like Mr. Singu, David, who's he's so good in design and structuring things, and that has helped a lot. And I feel like the energy is shifting, and I'm quite, I can be quite emotional with these things, right? Like I want to win as a community. I want to win as a team. And when we're not in this like constant up period, sometimes it eats on me. So, but in general, I'm doing good. I got a
that's really important. I mean, you can feel that you're fighting an uphill battle, but when you see the community showing up behind you, and we definitely noticed in the community when more and more of us showed up on X, on Discord, and showed you support. And I can probably say from the community side, we are extremely happy to see you showing up and giving us updates weekly, bi-weekly, and doing the Bosu sync up on Thursdays, what is on Discord. So everyone must join the Bosu sync up as well. And my first experience with Final Bosu was from Zeneka, actually. Zeneka was talking about Final Bosus on his Discord, and then I started to dig into the story, and I fall in love right away. I had some PTSD from NFTs and stuff, but also I love a good storytelling. I love world building, and Final Bosu was, in my opinion, one of the top projects who could deliver a real good product for the people, by the people.
Sure.
And I always wanted to ask, how is this IP and storytelling by the community works, or how you imagined that's going to drive the movement forward?
Yeah, I think even if I think back of like my younger years, thinking back of my brothers, when I was like 4 years old, 5 years old, I always looked up to them because they were always like vlogging and creating and dressing up as Batman and Robin and as the Ninja Turtles, right? They always took the IP they used it and they create their own mini series around it, right, at home, and it's like before the internet was there. And I think that on its own is such an awesome idea, because there's people that actually love the IP and they want to do something with it. I just think for the longest time, the world has established itself in a way where it's a lot about profit. It's a lot about owning like the whole thing and making sure that you maximize it. And I think that Web3 has shifted this model completely in all aspects, like from gaming to IP to finance, like and I think that goes for us as well. And so I just love the idea that we can create a universe that a community can co-own it. If they want, they can build with, and they can own characters within this universe. Like that thought process is just amazing, right? Like never before we could own a character that's actually living inside of an animation or an anime or a video game, right? You actually own like the rights towards it. So that's always been like an interesting thing to me. I remember a long time ago, maybe about 15 years, I had a conversation with my brother about the world, right? And I don't remember maybe it was called Zeitgeist. I don't know if it's Zeitgeist, but there's a documentary out there of a guy that was redesigning the world, right? And he was redesigning it in a way where, what if the whole of humanity would work together, right? What kind of job would you then do? Right? Because now people are kind of forced because they need to make a living. Nobody does really what they love. They just take on a job because it pays the bills. But what if that would all change, right? And everybody would get, a similar pay, or we would all just do what we love all day. And then it really comes down to like the value that you provide, right? And if you want to work more, you can earn more, but not everybody wants that, right? And there's this other story actually that also always fascinated me, and that's that there was this truck company that was going bankrupt, and it was from this old man who was running it for 40 years, and they were on the verge of bankrupting. And his son actually said, "Please, Dad, let me take it over. I have some ideas. I want to switch this business around. It's time for you to retire." And his son took over, and when he came into the office, he gathered all the employees and he put on one big whiteboard in the middle of the room, and he told everybody, go to the whiteboard, write down the salary that you want, right? If it's more than you earn today, write it down. If it's less, then write that down. And based on that, we're going to reform how everybody is working. And what he noticed is that a lot of people would actually take less money. Some people wanted more money, but they also wanted to work more. And so that business in the end turned around and it became super successful. I don't remember the name of it, but one of the most successful truck companies in the world right now. And like these concepts, I've always been interested by, of what if you get a group of people that love something, that can participate, and that can also extract value out of it, right? And I think that is a similar sort of mindset that I have going into this brand, that if we turn this into $1 billion franchise, I want everybody that was building with to win with. Right? Not just the fan that can consume and watch. No, they actually own a license. Maybe they own 2 specific products that are in a store somewhere, generating a lot of profit that they can earn from it. Like that concept is just so amazing. And so obviously it's a bit more broad, a long-term vision. But I think on the short term, it's really about you getting your character. You can fill in a bio, right? You can give it identity. You can write a story around it. We can go then in and look at Rolly and look what Rolly has created, and then think, hey, we're creating this manga page and we need a character there. What can we learn together with Rolly and fill this piece in there, right? And maybe Rolly wrote a bit of the part of that character. And I think that those are all kind of concepts that we're like exploring and working towards as we're going to expand the brand, so that we can truly create a community co-created franchise. And I've noticed online a lot of times that people said, they're not going to do anything. It's just, they're just waiting for the community to build. It's absolutely not the fact. Like, I think, this is only going to work like on a big scale if we actually turn this into a desirable franchise, right? If we get millions and millions of
I can agree with you. Yeah, but also, as you just said, the Web3 is really colorful, and there is a high variety of people joining for different reasons, and many of us joined here for the art. That could be a meme. Joined for the art. I actually joined for the art. I joined for the art back in 2021. because my brother is an artist, and that's how I get to Web3 and to NFTs. But also, I connected to the stories. And in the past couple of weeks, you guys just inspired me so much. I was looking already into Creative Commons licenses to connect the Final Bosu with different universes. And I'm sure there is many other hoarders are willing to take the next step and help Final Bosu to grow to the franchise where you like it to be. And I know we, as a holders, we need to do this alongside you, because the team alone can't make the project successful. That's need a community to put down the work and just spread the good vibes and definitely show up every day. We can't expect you, the founders, because I know there's a lot of pressure. In the meantime, we are trying, as you as a founder and the team, I see you showing up every day, and I also notice that's plenty of pressure on you. But the holders need to understand that's not that simple. You are doing your best to make the business and the project successful, but we as a community need to do the same.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely also a part on like if you look at X and the attention economy within Web3, right? The loudest communities, it's all about perception, right? So if you see consistent posts from a community coming out, you automatically assume that the community is strong, right? And so that's a responsibility that every holder has. Like literally, if you choose to post 3 times tomorrow and you include some type of imagery around Final Bosu, you're literally participating in the success of the brand. Right? I do think on the other side, it's our responsibility to actually, create that trust, create that excitement, and ultimately create enough of a funnel, a creator economy. Because I think that YouTube, for example, is a great example. It only works because people are actually getting rich of it. Right now you get this 12-year-old kid that is like, I want to become a YouTuber and become rich, and then he creates content for the next 7 years, only in the hope that one day it's going to succeed. But he's investing 7 years of his life creating content every single day without knowing if it's going to go somewhere, right? But that is there because there are so many examples, and I think we're going to see some really good examples coming out of Web3, and I think Pudgy, for example, is a big one. Where already we see examples of holders literally creating a product, creating hundreds of thousands of dollars out of leveraging on the brand, right? That's incredibly powerful. That has never ever happened in Web2, other than licensing deals from corporations in between each other. This is actually holder licensing or consumer licensing, almost, as we can call it. Right? Yeah, that's exciting.
But I can see the same things happen to Final Bosu, and you guys I know you guys are working towards this direction to make this happen. Let's just put the business side a bit aside, and I have a personal question. So
Yes.
now you need to tell us the truth. What is your favorite faction, and why?
Oof, you're putting me on spot, man. Favorite.
If it's not Kodaka, I'm just gonna hang up right now, right here.
You're gonna fuck. Okay, I will pick one, but first I would say that every of it has its own flavor and taste, and I can find parts of my own identity in each. Right, Kodaka actually resonates a lot as well. Thinking back of like the World of Warcraft days, like I used to game a lot, like when I was 16. The wizard, like the mage that I had back then, like even the wizard that you have, right? Like, so there's a lot of identity that I have there. Kazagami I really like because of the rebelness, I don't know, like I've always had this dream to one day, even though it sounds kind of dark, like almost wake up in and like The Walking Dead and slay zombies with my 2 swords, like,
that's my son's that's my son's favorite.
You know what I mean? It's like being in the desert, even though it's scary. I mean, like probably if you're dropped into a real desert, and you have to like Mad Max and you have to fight your way, it's kind of hunting. But just the idea, like the imagination of it just sounds so cool. So I would definitely lean more towards the Kodaka and Kazagami side of things. I really love Citizens. In the end of the day, I chose it for my PvP now as well.
Yeah, I love
I really have a favorite.
She's
beautiful, yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah,
I would
you don't have
probably
to pick a
have to
favorite.
pick.
Sorry, I just put really on the spotlight, and that was just
Yeah, if I would overall, I would probably lean towards Kodaka or Kazagami, one of those two.
those are the rebels, and those are who try to change the system and
Yes.
do something different. I agree, but I also agree there is every flavor in the universe have something to go for if uh, which would match your personality. Because you can pick a PFP or you can pick one for your personality. I agree. That's amazing. That's
I was
great.
actually thinking of this, right? Because I was first, I was looking at the PFPs when I was selecting my PFP. And I also took in consideration, like, if I take like a crazy Kazagami, right, and then I go to NFT Paris and I have to speak on stage, and they're like putting me there as as a PFP, I just look like an instant rebel, you know. So I was also trying to think of, okay, how can I, find this middle path, and I feel like I got the perfect PFP.
Thank you. So I mentioned I will do this show every week, and I was wondering to do some kind of competition for the community, but Kaito was faster. So Kaito have a great competition, and there's so many amazing art. I would love. I will share later on as much as I can. But as a team, would you like to see more of the community participation in like small videos or imageries or world building in the future? And do you have any plans for this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be a very important part, right? Like, and it's going to be trying to find the right balance between like even what is canon, right, what is community created, and how we can merge those two. But I truly feel like your ID is your ID, it's your character, right? And so it would only be right if you can have involvement in shaping that character's narrative and story, right? We need to find that way. And so there are certain things within the collector and licensing profile that we're looking at to implement. So that you can shape the character, right? That you can add on to it, and we can also reward you for that in that way. But yeah, I'd love to see more of that. Like, I'm literally every single post that I find on X, I usually drop into Slack, into our our team Slack channels to share with others. Even if it's something basic, I just love to see it. It's amazing. It's crazy because this universe only existed in our minds, right? And now people are actually doing stuff with it. It's still unreal, really. But I'd love to see more of it. There's some competitions as well that we're thinking to doing from the community, together with like an incentivization system that we're looking at for Discord. So there's some stuff upcoming for that. To incentivize people as well to do it, right? Happy to use the community treasury with rewards. We've got a lot of NFTs there to give away to the community that we've reserved specifically for these kind of things.
How was the feedback on the wiki? What was the feedback on the Kasuma archives? Because I know I can't stop going and reading stuff.
Nice. Yeah, we should get an update out today, so it's coming out in a bit.
Great.
We're gonna drop constantly new pages, new things into it. We'll really use it as our internal communication way of, for writing story. Even if we're creating some sketches, let's drop into it, right? And we can just keep adding. It's been really positive so far. I think that people really like to see also the creator's note, and also see a bit of why certain things were created, like the Respawn Express, right? Like there's a lot of inspiration from reincarnation actually in there that we try to put into it, even though it's such a horrific, like, you die, you respawn, you're waking up naked, right? We took the concept of it originally came from the concept of rebirth, right? And but told in a very different way. So yeah, no, it's been perceived really well, I would say. I was expecting a little bit more, maybe not fun, but yeah, maybe people were hoping for more or something like that. But till now,
I mean, that's I think that's a great start. And you start sharing, and you show that you are building the world. You actively participating on the Discord, on the live as a team, and I can see things only go up from here. That's not even a question. Yeah, I was thinking about the Rebirth and the Meteora so much, and like how you can get to the express and all the stories behind. So I can't wait you to share more, or the team to share more, or fill up these gaps in the wiki. But also this is good for because you can use your imagination and get this part filled. I know. I want to respect your time. I know you have to go soon, but do you have anything you like to share with the community? Now, what is coming? I know we have the regular updates on the Discord, and I also would love to have you here at least for 5 minutes. If you can join every week, that would be amazing, or someone from the team, because I will keep doing this on every Tuesday.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I'm happy to join every time, and as long as I have time on a Tuesday, I will place it in my calendar and try to show up. Or else I can get somebody off the team. It would be nice to get Mustiaki or Jeff once here. Maybe Mustiaki could even do some live drawing and can talk about the lore and do a deep dive really into that, right? If people have specific questions and can even brainstorm. Would even be cool to once get like a bunch of different community members that really like story writing and do like a live brainstorm all together to come up with a certain scene or certain setting. And maybe Mustiaki can draw, right? That will be pretty cool.
I have this in the pipeline. Yeah.
I think what I want to share with the community is, these last weeks have been very interesting because I think one of the challenges in Web3 that I found so far is trying to find the right balance, right? If you actually put yourself in our shoes, and I want to do right by what is right for an anime franchise, right? How can we, we have some funds. How can we put this to work and set ourselves up to make sure at least that we have the biggest chance on actual success, right? And when I say actual success, it's like we want millions of anime fans that fall in love with the brand, right? Beside like the NFTs, right? I want them to look at Let's Go, Bull and Bear, Endo. I want to have them watch the animation and be like, this is something really cool. Like I want to watch this, I want to consume this, I want to get involved, right? Like that will be. We need to reach something like that. I think another big thing is to at least get 1 or 2 products out that have a potential on virality, right? Like usually IP or franchises become really big because they either have a video game or they have a show or they have something that blows up that just captures like, a very large audience, and not just, nice to see video, and they actually like, they fall in love. Like we all know when you're in love with an IP or franchise, like I love Naruto. I named my son Naruto, right? Because he changed my life. Like I've watched the show, my life changed. Now I name my son after that. My daughter is, her second name is Nami after a One Piece character. You know what I mean? Like this is fandom. Like this is deep stuff. And as a franchise, that is really what we want to create, right? But sometimes doing things for Web3 alone are actually in the way of doing those things, right? And so I think these last weeks, it was for us a lot like, how do we find that sweet balance in between so we can do both? Right, we can release small products like the wiki, and keep adding onto it. But this is still on the way for us, moving towards that bigger target, right? And doing those things, because I think a lot of times some things look good from the outside, right? And before I was on a space and I was speaking about this, it might be a hot take for Web3. Is I know that Giphies, for example, see some of the brands splashing around. We got 6 million views, we got 10 million views, we got 50 million views. I know that sounds amazing on a service level. Few, for Web3, that's like, you see, there's IP proliferation, but those brands are usually also spending 5 to 10 grand a month, and they don't have big treasuries. That means that in a year from now, they're going to run out of money. Now your question becomes, was Giphy really the right play from a first principle thinking to actually put your brand into a place to become super sustainable, right? For Web3, yeah, you readied up a community, everybody's excited, that's great. But from an actual IP larger proliferation, it's not always the case. Pudgy obviously leveraged it really, really smart, right? And they have so many other things, and combining that all makes sense. And so I think for us, it's really like finding our way, right? But if I look at the fundamentals of Final Bosu, like the quality that we have in the art, like guys, please go watch the trailer, like again, like the story, every detail that is in there. For me personally, when I look at it, it screams franchise, like an actual IP, right? That people could fall in love with. And so all these fundamentals are there, right? And I think with a little bit of time, hiring the right team members, being very smart with the way that we're going to invest our funds, building our way up, I think that we have a really, really good shot at actually proliferating this IP and building a fan base, that's actually gonna love this franchise. And there's a lot of stuff that we're working on. Some things that we haven't even mentioned yet. We're gonna do some posts about this as well. But we're actually developing a whole Kashuma City map. With a really renowned artist that has done really big maps. It's really awesome. Mustiaki's working together with him. There's socials
amazing.
that we're working on. Yeah, that's going to be really awesome. Excited about that. And parts of that, again, we want to have filled in by the community, right? So we're going to reach out to the community as well to fill in parts of that.
Don't tell me don't tell me you're working, my brother, and you all kept the secret for me.
What's your brother's name?
Zort. No, probably he would have told me.
That would be crazy if he would have said his name now. Like, what? But this artist has also like 100,000 followers on Instagram, like in the normal art space, right? He's not really into Web3, but it's really, really awesome. So we're working on socials. Like one thing that we're testing out, and it's a little bit tricky to crack, is we want to implement the founder funnel on Instagram, right? So rather than doing just very short, basic, flat animations, because even if you look at an anime brand, right? Let's say we would go the Pudgy route, right? Or we go the Chimpers route, and we would create those type of animations. Like, it's really tough because either we need to simplify the style, we have to turn them just into chibi characters. We're also exploring that as a separate brand, but like we could do that, right? Or we go hardcore anime animation, but it's really expensive and difficult to produce. And if you want to do it well, you need good storytelling, right? Yeah. So it takes time. So we thought a lot to ourselves, like, okay, what can we do towards an anime space to get buy-in of anime fans, right? And I think it's both. Like, we need to do a bit of animation, we need to do art, right? We need to tell that story, but we also need to tell the three brothers story, right? And so we actually came up with a narrative that says, like, the three brothers quit their job and are now trying to create an anime, right? And that's like the founder funnel we're going to execute on, but then on Instagram. I think that's going to be really exciting. It's something we're working on in the short term. So I'm just extremely bullish, man. Like, with a bit of time, like Final Bosu, it's going to go places. And I think we're also perfectly positioned for Abstract. Like, Abstract is just about to take off, right? So even if we wouldn't do anything and we would just, continue steadily,
see it back as an NFT project and just
Abstract alone will probably rise floor price, will rise volume, will increase all of those things. Now when we start executing and actually showing like quality, right, like that's always been an important thing. Even the collector and licensing dashboard, we could have created something in a week, launch it and just get it out there and have something. Or we say, no, we really want to take our time and actually look properly at the design and, really be proud of it. When we launched it, they were like, man, I love this product myself. Like, there's thought of so many elements, like we always try to do with the marketing and everything. So
I love what you're doing. Let me tell you a secret. Maybe I haven't shared this with you. So before the Final Bosu mint, I was hoping to mint 2 Bosus. So I was lucky to mint 1 and it was sold out. So I couldn't mint 2. I minted 1 and it was sold out. I managed to grab 1 more in secondary. And I had a conversation with Kaito after, and that's how I am. I was straight away asking, guys, what's your runway? What's your plan? And the team is so it was so well planned. You were planning out everything, not spending the money or spending the mint fund on silly things, but being very mindful and plan ahead. And for somehow I ended up in 18 Bosus right now.
Let's go.
I will stop here. Probably that's why I said every day. But I absolutely love what you're doing, and I'm very grateful you accepted my invitation for today, Kev. And I would love to do this weekly and have an update for the community.
I appreciate that, man. One last thing I will share actually is it's interesting. Most people don't notice. Sometimes they ask, or you see like the messages coming by, but you guys been building for 3 years, right? And I think I definitely need to do some explanation on that. Maybe properly do a video or something like that, because most people don't know, but the first year and a half, we had a very different vision for Final Bosu. We launched our first collection. We launched it at about $1,000 actually. And the thing went down almost to $80 in value, right? So we had a huge downward spiral. because right when we launched it, afterwards the beer market hit, everything started tanking, and we looked at the funds that we have, and we looked at everything, and we're like, okay, what can we do to actually build this into something real, right? And we were exploring many different things. Like we've developed a VR game, for example, where you had to beat like a big final boss. We were working on a game in Sandbox. We were working on so many different things. We started a podcast in the VR space. It's still on YouTube as well. And we were exploring, right? Like, which direction are we going to go to? And I think that 99% of the teams from then just simply gave up, right? And those are teams that raised a lot more money than us, right? We barely, like, not even 5% of what most of them raised. But we had to make a choice then, like, either we're going to give up or we're going to pivot and we're going to turn this into something real. And then eventually we came back to the basics of, like, if we dream big, like, what is it that we actually want, like, in our core, right? And back when I was 15 years old, I had a video graphic and design company with my brothers. And the passion just took away because we were always doing client work. And when we entered Web3, we actually got 2 assignments, one for Damian Lillard, an NBA player. We did 4 art pieces and we got good paid for that. And then we got another assignment that in the end didn't end up going. It was with Cristiano Ronaldo and doing art, creating NFTs for him, right? And in the end, it never went through. But when we got those assignments, we had to ask ourselves, like, are we going to do this again, work for clients, or are we going to build our own universe, right?
For yourself.
And so when we were in that down spiral, we were like, man, maybe we're just not dreaming big enough, Maybe we're holding ourselves small, thinking about a sandbox game, and like, what if we go really big, right? And then the thought go, why don't we just, and I remember the first time we spoke it out, why don't we just create an anime? We just create our own brand, and we design characters, and we write story, and we go to the big theater, we go to the streaming side. That's where we want to go. Or like, when you're like, you feel the tingling of like, oh, that will be so amazing to do. But
you know what? I'm so happy you made this decision. Let's fucking go.
And now we're here, right? And so what I want to say with it is also, like, this is not our first rodeo, right? Things will go up and down. Our first pass went from $1,000 to $80, back to $1,000, back to $500, and then all the way up to $6,000. Not because we had some magic formula. It's because, one, we didn't give up and we figured it out. We kept on going until we solved all the problems. And we're now in a similar stage, this time with a bit more budget, a bit more team members, and we're going to freaking figure it out. And we won't stop until we do. So we'll leave it there. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Let's have this as a last word. Thank you so much, Kev, for joining. And thank you very much, everyone who was here with us. I will make sure this video is uploaded.
Appreciate you.
Thank you
so much. See you in the next one, man.
See you in the next one.